Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Back from kind of a break, I guess you could say, from New Year's. Mike, I didn't even get a chance to check in on you on New Year's. Did you come on and do some of the show on New Year's Eve?
Well, we had a little remote broadcasting there, Mr. Ron Stone. I opened up the show and then I treated our audience to some look-ins from the Wayne County Fair. So they got some Outlawed live exclusive. And then I might or might not have snuck away to a little gathering at a local business here in town while one of our associates came in and shut it down for me at about 8 o'clock or 8:30. So
I like
a true team that night.
I like your terminology, a local business and an associate and all that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I definitely was not slamming down Coors Lights while Jason Schultz ended the podcast for me.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I did get a chance to watch the show, and then I got a message from Kevin Davis saying, "Hey, nice show last night." And I was thinking, what's he all excited about? Obviously, it was about Wayne, Nebraska. So
there we go.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, hey, man, the list is out.
I got it. I've got it written down. I got our guys and gals and folks, and we know who's in and who's out. And Ron, this is a big year for the Outlaws. I think our numbers are up from last year.
What was it last year? I think we're right there. It's always like 17, 18, something like that.
Ooh, maybe we're a little down then. I don't know. I didn't think we quite barely hit the double digits last year. It looks good on my piece of paper written down right here.
15, 16. We're right there in the neighborhood, you know.
I've got 13 regulars plus 4 that maybe pull with us a couple different hooks that maybe didn't hit for points, but I might have missed some. So we might have to compare here.
Yeah, we got John Hunt in there, and he ran more with the NTPA than he did with us last year. So, you know.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
If you count him, that's 17. By my math, anyway.
That would move me to. So, are you counting like Wayne and Donnie for their hooks down in Texas?
Well, they pull with NTPA, PPL more than they did with us. So, I mean, they're pretty much representing those other organizations.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I wouldn't try to claim them.
I missed some.
Outlaw points runners. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we'd love to have them. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
So
it's always one of those. I love it. I love when I watch Esden Lane go down the track because he put the Outlaw sticker on the side of his track a couple years ago, as mandated by our sticker packages, and he left his on. So I love it every time I see him go down the track, and I'm like, hey man, right there, Outlaw sticker on the red line fever, So if you look closely, that Kentuckian might have an Outlaw sticker on it somewhere.
That would be cool. Yeah, with what. I actually talked to Donnie Sullivan a week or two ago, and they are planning to come to Rock Valley, Iowa.
That's awesome.
25, and supposedly we're going to have a bunch of mods from California invade Rock Valley, Iowa, too. So it's going to be probably the biggest modified tractor class of the summer at Rock Valley in 2025.
It was big to end the year in Lufkin, Texas, and. Speaking of mods, one name that really jumped out to me that made it into Louisville this year, and I just thought, I really liked that selection was Vern Huser. He was actually the first person I saw that got his Louisville letter. And Cameron Eves has campaigned for us at Louisville for so long. I'm really looking forward to having multiple modifieds representing the Outlaws. Vern, don't count him out, man. He can stack it in there with the best of them.
Hey, look here, Ben Beller is adding to what you were saying about the Outlaw sticker. The Nelson's Midnight Gambler also has their Outlaw sticker still on too. So.
Look closely, and we hear this a lot. They go to the Rock Valleys, they go to Lufkin, they go to various other pools, and they're like, you know what? We have a good experience. That a lot of these heavy hitter pullers. I remember they went to Rock Valley. Him and Craig Corzine did a couple years ago, and just loved it.
Let's keep up with our comments here. Dick Blankspore watching from Inwood, Iowa, always watching on Tuesday nights. Mark Crowley, modified two-wheel drive puller, watching this evening. Randy Barker, you guys absolutely pulling everything you can get out of the equipment. Awesome. That is true. Jason Schultz says February 7th and 8th, Satsuma, Florida, Outlaw truck
Yeah.
tractor pulling, 5.0 Pro Stock tractors and 3.0 Limited Pro diesel pickup. So let's talk about that a little bit because that's a month away, man. That is 1 month away. Satsuma, Florida. We are sanctioning, Outlaws are sanctioning 2 classes. There are several classes in competition there, but we are sanctioning 2. So you can go on the Outlaw app and sign up. You do not have to be a member to sign up on the Outlaw Pulling app. But we are inviting 3.0 diesel pickups that meet our rules and 5-inch Pro Stocks that meet our rules to come to Satsuma, Florida. 2 nights, February 7th and 8th. There you go. There's the app. Show them how to enter, Mike.
And I was going over this, and I tried to make a post earlier. I've actually had some people in the Facebook, Outlaw Facebook ask that. So you're just going to want to go, open up the Outlaw app. And I don't know if you can see really well. There's kind of a glare on here.
Yep,
in the top left-hand corner, you're going to have events. Go ahead and click on events. And this is the same for fans or drivers. If you're a fan following results, or if you're a driver wanting to enter, it's the same app, same process. Right at the top, you'll see Satsuma, Florida. Go ahead and click on that. And then here at the bottom.
2 of them. So if I'm a driver, I have to do both these individually, right? If I'm pulling both nights?
I believe so. So you can go on there, and it's going to
I'm asking you, but I know you do have to. So.
Driver entry. Hey, don't ask me, Ron. I talk about them. I don't drive them. Yeah. So if you do want to pull both nights, you have to go in Friday and in Saturday on both of them.
Do you still have to scroll down? I haven't done that for a while, but I know before that was what made it kind of funny was if you didn't scroll down, you didn't see where it prompted you. So you go to National Series events, like you said, Satsuma, Florida, Friday night. Okay, so you don't have to scroll down anymore. Boom, it popped up. So that's a lot easier. That's where it was confusing before, was you literally had to scroll down to find that driver entry. So yeah, it says, are you a member? Are you not a member? Click one of those. Next, put in your pertinent information. You'll be pre-registered for that pull down there. Fun in the sun down there.
Now, as I understand it, we are sanctioning teching, running these classes, but is this going to be a points hook?
No.
I did not. That's the way I understood it, but I wanted to make sure on that.
With the distance from where the majority of our pullers pull from, and as late as it is getting this booked, we're 1 month away right now.
Yeah.
You couldn't put that on our pullers where most of them are sitting there with their tractors split apart and parts and pieces laying all over the shop, and half of them at the machinist and half of them in route and transit, either going to or coming from the machine shop. So so we're counting on pullers. Some of our pullers are going to go. I was going to say, that being said,
if it's together and you're looking for something fun to do, I would be not surprised at all. The way those limited Pro Stock diesel trucks love to travel, boy, I would not be the least bit surprised to see, Ryan Stahl and some of his gang down there. So if your vehicle's together and you're an Outlaw regular, go on down and check it out. I know they're wanting this to be a big pull. And I think with Outlaw throwing its blessing onto it and backing it, that's going to be a major step in the right direction for this pull in Satsuma.
Yeah, I think we're looking ahead too with this event. We're looking down the road at possibly some other events there next winter, possibly having a winter series down there. We'll see how it pans out. Apologize ahead of time. I'm just kind of getting over a pretty nasty sinus flu. I don't know what you call it. It's been pretty miserable, but right now is the best I felt in several days. So Satsuma, Florida, that will be live on Full Pull Live too as well. So
there's a slew. If you want to just be in like the realm of really good announcers, like if that's something that makes you come to the pulling track, of course Dan's going to be down there with Full Pull. You're going to be down there with the Outlaws, and then our good buddy from over on Beer Money Pulling Team and Let's Go Pulling, Matt Hart, who does a lot of announcing in Illinois, is going to be down there as well. So a lot of really good announcing crew going to be down there in Satsuma, whether it be on Outlaw or Full Pull side.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. That's 1 month. I mean, today's the 7th. We're 1 month away from that deal. So awesome. You know what? Tyler Buckman is backstage right now. He's in makeup right now.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to need another 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Well, I've been watching him work furiously, and we talk about splitting the tractors in half, and at some point you just got to let it run down the track. Tyler, buddy, I think you've applied as much as you can. I think we're just going to have to let it go at this point. It's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, when we call your name, you got to be ready. Got to be ready to go pull. Got to have all your safety equipment on and ready to go. So makeup included. But he's probably jealous of my backdrop here. Did you see that back behind me?
That's a good looking one. I like it. And it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful tractor, and in a class that sees so much red too, the diesel supers being a predominantly red class. I bet that he does wear that green with quite a bit of pride, and you got to love that kind of old school horn on the front on that turbo intake. It's a mean looking machine.
Ben Beller from Howard, Kansas says good evening. Of course, he commented already about the Nelsons there.
Yep.
Randy Barker wondering if Tractor Supply Company sponsors any. I don't think so. And don't think I haven't reached out to him either, Randy. So
good suggestion. They would be a great that would be a hand in a glove,
Yeah, I've made repeated attempts to get them, but will Florida be on Outlaw TV? No, it will be on Full Pull. It will be on Full Pull Live. So yay! Without further ado, going to be a packed show here. Let's go ahead. They're just finishing powdering his nose right now. Diesel Super Stock champion for 2024, Tyler Buckman. Tyler, what's up, buddy?
Nothing, you guys. Powdering my nose, really.
Are you jealous of my backdrop here? Look at
yes,
that.
I am. I wish I had that here. We're making do with a cell phone and plugged in because that's low on battery, so we're kind of making do wherever we can this evening. But
I don't know what's going on. I usually have my Outlaw background on here. I've got the Outlaw symbol like is on my hat there. And for some reason, it took it off there. And when I go to put it back on, it's backwards. So it's got Outlaw backwards. Like, that doesn't look good. And I don't know why.
Well, you disappeared, too. You got your black T-shirt on tonight with your black hat. And I've noticed before when you do that, your background can't tell where you end and where it begins. So you'd just be floating. So the mean-looking green machine back there is perfect.
Yeah. We're definitely a fan of that.
So let's talk Diesel Superstock. Let's talk 2024. And then we'll talk about 2025 a little bit later, but walk us through the previous season here. You guys had some rough times early on.
We made a lot of changes. In 2023, we broke the rocker shaft down at Whitewright, Texas. Pretty much the head was all right, but put a hole in the block, bent a couple rods, broke the flywheel off. That was kind of no-go. So we were in the process of starting over. We were converting. We actually, that summer, we picked up long block from Hypermax. So
you were converting. You converting to an international block or what?
Well, I mean, the pump's on the other side, but there's not many parts that are international really when it all comes down to it. So there's not too much IH there, but yeah, the pump is on the other side, or as they say, the right side in the diesel world. The super side anyway.
Wait a minute. It was like right. It used to be. This might be politically incorrect to say now, but when I was a kid, when you got an ear ring, it was left is right and right is wrong. Which is it on the
anymore it's what works. And there's an awful lot of guys that make that red one work. And we like the deer one, but I told a lot of guys after working on the red one for a year, I feel like I've been cheated the last 15 years working on deer for how much easier it is. Back in the day when David Henderson was running the 3-horse, we'd always hear about Daryl Baskey having the zipper on the head to do that, to change that out, get that tractor fixed up. I can believe that now. I mean, it's to take the head off these things, it's considerably easier than a deer and a lot easier to work on. We had the head off a couple times this year. I think we scored a couple pistons twice, but I've been flat. We changed all the long block out, but I left all my pumps, my tanks and all that alone. But in doing so, I think we were short on some of our pump drives. We had some issues with the old pump and then the new one. So I was really fighting my external oil pump and fuel pumps all season long. And then we fought some timing issues, just getting some of the stuff changed over. So it was all the small things. And we made the first one out of Ravenna and ended up having a couple water lines that got either plugged from getting new ones and that. So we were short on water on a few, and that scored a piston there. And then, it just was a long road of a lot of little things this summer. But
it seems like you guys were really struggling early on, and it was like it got after a while. Every time you hooked, we all had our fingers crossed and our toes crossed and everything, just hoping you get down the track.
Yeah, and probably the worst one was at Britt. We were there, and I was watching it because we knew we had problems with it, and just getting ready to leave the line. As soon as it got up to about 4 grand, man, that pump just locked up and would spit the belt right off. So we went back home, and we ended up kind of putting together some old stuff with some new stuff, and then we went out to Gibbon, and that's where we finally made it on the track. We worked on a few things, came back that night, pulled at Rockwell, getting ready for the state fair, made a decent pass at Rockwell. We kind of missed the track a little bit, so finished close to the bottom there, but it was early and the class was first, and things kind of changed there a little bit in the Grand National track like that, but came back, and then, we were tuned up Radio State Fair, which got rained out, and then when we came to Wisner, made a nice pass, got third the first night on Thursday night, behind Brad and Doug, and then we were able to come back Saturday night and saw that Sarah had made a nice pass, and Doug was going out there and lost his water line, so he was back quite a ways. And back in my mind, I thought, well, we got a chance here to get the Thunderbolt, so let's do what we can here. And I had gotten an eye infection Thursday night out there at Spencer, so I was in glasses there Friday, Saturday, and I've never pulled with my glasses on, so it was getting ready to leave the line with your glasses on and the helmet. We pretty much fogged up, so I'm not going to say I was completely blind, but Saturday night we were going to go until it stopped, and I didn't know where I was at until they said we were at like 340 something, so I knew at that point we had got enough feet on there to get the win in the Thunderbolt then. So I just told everybody if I hadn't scored a piston, I wasn't sure we were going to let out at, but we were going to go until we were going to put on a show that night. We were the last one, and it's all right being last. We put them green underglow on the tractor this last winter to kind of add a little bit of a show, trying to put on a show. If there's only a few of us, we want to be something different. And so we kind of asked the Outlaw guys if you minded us, hey, having these on down the track, and they're like, no, absolutely not. So it's been kind of a couple late night hooks. Were kind of fun to have that on.
Heck yeah. Corey Schluter says, who says that's the right side?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a different side. Put it that way.
Yeah, I remember talking to Doug Meisinger out there at Wisner, Nebraska, and he said that you guys, especially in the diesel superclass, had kind of had a general understanding that Saturday night, Wisner, long track, you were going to let them eat that night. Is that true? Did you kind of have them all? Did you guys kind of come together and say, boys, there's only so many of us and fans only get to see us so often. Let's kind of set them on kill tonight and see just how far we can drag this thing.
Well, sometimes we probably won't necessarily change our setups to kill, but what we'll do is we go talk to the sled guy, and it's like, hey, Gary, why don't you just leave an extra weight out? Stopping us at 300, just leave a little bit longer, a little more weight out of the box, and we'll be on our toes when we get down to the other end, And so sometimes when them guys leave a weight out, I tell everybody in our class, we try to have it set up so we can go 350 to 380 on a long hook. So it's like, hey, make sure you got a big enough oil pan, you got big enough fuel tanks. So make these long passes, these tractors will live. We're only going to do it once, but, in our class, when we go that far, usually the front ends are up and we're going 37, 38 mile an hour. I mean, it's fun to watch. There's a lot going on when you're going that fast.
I'm sure it's a fun ride as well.
Yes. Sure. A lot of them at that point, the driver, I mean, you're just sitting back and enjoying the scenery there. I mean, your front end's up, you're usually going straight, and it's just hold the throttle down and enjoy the view sometimes.
Doug Meisinger has a comment here. I think he's replying to maybe Corey Schluter's.
I'm sure.
Who says that's the right side? And Doug says anyone that knows anything about it, I think is what he's talking about. So got a little red-green.
Esden said a few things to me before, but he's like, at the end of the day, I'm still going to come watch too, so don't worry about it. But a little more readily available parts. I was getting in the green side. I mean, it's definitely helped with that 540 class, coming about with more parts lately. But, there's just so many diesel supers that were set up with Hypermax setup. And, a lot of that stuff is getting there in our class. And it's like, I felt like I was just kind of going my own path there. And so it's like, in these components, everything is interchangeable. I mean, a new rear plate, we made a nice front mount, and away we went.
Yeah. It's kind of like in the automotive world, the small block Chevrolet. I mean, it's the most universal performance engine there is that you can put parts on, and you see it put in Fords and Dodges and all kinds of different just because the parts are so much more readily available there and cheaper too. But Marty
Not really cheaper.
Samuelson,
I can't say that, but compared to the other classes, I don't know if they're that much more either. So
not cheaper, not even more affordable.
Well, one thing about it, at least when we go to get a bigger, when we're buying a different injection pump, we're definitely getting a bigger pump. We got pumps that are pumping a lot of fuel, and when you're keeping the limitations away, man, you can get some performance out of these things. And Doug always said, if you're not going to change much, or if we're going to change something, you're going to at least change something that's going to make a lot of horsepower. So,
yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Marty Samuelson watching tonight. We've got a lot of fans on here that tune in every Tuesday night, Tyler. So
yeah, no, I've watched a couple of them. So it's been, I think we talked earlier. I think I came on last year one time. So, we catch a few here and there, and that's good to see you guys covering everything all, every week on what's going on. So,
yeah, I'm constantly surprised when we go, say, like the National Farm Machinery Show, or go out somewhere, somebody will stop me and say, "Hey, love the show, watch every week."
Yeah.
And it's somebody from Michigan or Kentucky or something. It's just like, Outlaw. There's Outlaw fans out there all over the nation. So
yeah,
it's fun meeting them in person. I was in Wisner, and Marty just commented on here and called me down from the crow's nest after the pull, and he goes, "Hey, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Marty, and always watching." So it's great. It's great the following that we get.
You want to come sit by me? Oh, I got my little boy here. He's starting to wind down, so I don't know
you
if
got
you
the future driver.
Say hi or not yet.
Heck yeah, bring him in
over
there
and say hi. No,
not
quite tonight. Not yet. He's a little shy for that stuff. He
sure.
turned 6 on Saturday, so he's in the shy department. But my little tractor puller, that's for sure.
Perfect.
But
Jeremy Christina watching from St. Ivory, Nebraska. Russ Dostal, another super fan, says, "Congrats on a great season, Tyler."
Yeah, we survived it, and we're looking for better ones next year, better passes next year. We're not the latest and greatest on there, but we're hoping to make some good passes and put on a good show this next year. That's kind of where I've always said we are for our class. Is we're not going to be a lot of numbers, but if we're something different and the crowd loves it, hey, that's what we're going for.
I love that mentality. We talked to some of the light pro stock guys, and I feel like they're in a very similar field. They're in a class that's growing and kind of changing and transitioning a little bit right now. And your class is hitting that to where, it's kind of a war of patrition, and you guys know it's going to be a long season. There's going to be breakage, and you almost all got to hang together to ensure that the class survives and keeps putting on this. It's everyone's favorite class, but just getting it to where there's enough constantly going. So to have that mindset of, we need to do what's best for the class. I like that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of us, you guys were saying, Saturday night we were turning it on kill, and it's like, well, not. We still got most of us trying to just have it set on live. There's just so many things outside. The engines themselves are good, but if you just have one little thing outside, with a water line or something like that, everything is just it's right. We're right on the edge of everything right there, and it's all got to work. And even you get a little bolt in the oil pump and you run out of oil. It just doesn't take long with some stuff like that. But, we're trying to improve these things every time too with, doing our own fabrication and trying to make this better and improve that. And, it's just little steps along the way that we're trying to get these things to live.
Now, when you're building the boost up at the starting line, you're getting ready to take off, let off of that clutch.
Yeah.
The fact that you're pushing so much boost into that engine and it's a ticking time bomb, is that in the back of your mind when you're going down the track? This thing could grenade at any time?
No, not really anymore.
Really?
Those that, I said this a few years ago. When we put these engines together, you really got to trust what you do, and it's going to hang in there for what we're doing. And you got to put that aside and know that what you've got it's going to run. It's going to make a pass, and you got to focus on everything else besides that. The engine the parts are what they need to be. We all got billet cranks in there. We've got good blocks, good rods, pistons, all that stuff. The valve train is all there. And you got to trust that it's built right. It's going to take it, and down the track we go.
Yeah.
So, it's just all, like I said, though, it's all them little things. Like if we have a water nozzle that come loose, or we have an injection line that we've been having some issues that come loose and they're not staying tight. Now we're getting things that are coming loose at the end of the pass where now you might get a hole that's leaning out, and it's just, we're right there that everything needs to work like it should, And it was great to see, Brad Campbell, he missed he had an issue with the rod right away at Ravenna, missed white right, but man, he came back at Rock Valley, made 2 good passes. Then he went through that Britt, Sack, and Wayne made some great passes there. Followed up at Gibbon. Then that first night out at Wisner on Thursday night, man, he had a good pass going, but I told him, if you're going to be on the brake that hard, you better shift down a gear. He was really fading towards the center there, and you could see him shove the pedal down, and man, the tractor just pulled down, and it's like, man, they pull hard and you got to be on the brakes that bad. But he kept it in, and then it's just he came back. They had an issue with something in their oiling system that they couldn't come back Saturday, but then they came back, and then at Spencer they made a really nice pass out at Spencer to get the win. So I mean, them guys, they spent a lot of time, a lot of effort on that thing, and man, they were making some great passes with a different looking tractor. That black look, low,
it's beautiful tractor. Yeah,
it is, and that's what I like about our class too. Is man, every one of us are different. We've switched to gear hood, and I can still get everything to fit underneath there real nice, and try to keep it as close as we can as we've been all along.
Cole Lundahl said he's in Wakefield, Nebraska. Says congratulations, Tyler, on the points championship. Roger Rui, the Rue crew, that he was told tractor pulling was an economical sport.
Yeah, I heard you use that word, Ron. You talked about more affordable, and I didn't know that was in the tractor pulling vocabulary. So
you're never supposed to say cheaper. I was told you're never supposed to say cheaper, just more affordable. So, less expensive, maybe. How about that? Brandon Gillen checking in from South Texas. Probably warm down there, I bet.
Yeah.
Marty Samuelson. Hopefully we have 2 nights of pulling in Ravenna.
Well,
2025.
Yeah.
We were supposed to this last year, Got tornadoed out on Friday.
Roger Rui loved the diesel supers, and he asked a question: how much fuel do you guys go through in a pass?
That's a great question.
This last year, that's what kind of got me this last year. I've had the previous few years, we had about a 4.5 gallon, 5 gallon tank, which was working out good for me. But this year, and so we were probably going through about 2 gallon of fuel in years past, and about 2.5 gallon of water. With the change of setup we had, we bumped that probably up to 3.5, almost 4 gallons of fuel, and we're going through 3.5, 4 gallons of water. So all my 5 gallon tanks, at the end of the run, we were getting down there and we'd get a little bit of air. So that's where we were fighting some of them issues. And then not long passes, just getting the passes out there with that much we were putting in there. So that was some of the issues I fought through the year, that I'm making changes now this winter, that we're making, we're going to an 8 gallon fuel tank and an 8 gallon water tank. So we got plenty of product down the bottom there in those passes that we're not getting that gulp of air in there. So just some subtle changes I wasn't quite ready for in the chassis side of things with the motor change out and the turbo setup.
Are you guys a 3 charger system or 4? I feel like 3 is kind of the commonplace. Are there any 4 charger systems still floating around out there?
Oh yeah. There's quite a few 4 guys, and we go back and forth. I was never able to kind of keep up on all the different turbo sizes. Doug and a lot of them guys have really gotten the 4 system figured out.
Yeah,
they need to do. I've been always kind of a follower in the turbo world. I said I can't do the leading part, because when them things go and you're learning, it's pretty rough and tough. I mean, Travis went through that a few years ago when he was jumping up to that bigger setup with Hypermax, and that's a hard road to trudge when you're figuring a new setup out. So I'm more along in the follower side of things, and we ran 4 until 2016 or 2017. We ran 4, and then we switched to 3, and it's been the first year we switched there, we had a lot of problems with the bottom one, and then got a different bottom one, made some good passes there in 19 and 20. And I mean, I've had good luck with it. I've enjoyed it. I think we're going to change. It's kind of, to each has their benefit. I mean, back in the day when my brother-in-law had his tractor, he always used the idea. He goes, if you're trying to carry water, if you're going to do it with 3 pails or 4 pails, the 3 got to do just as much work as the 4 do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Doug Meisinger's going back here, referencing worried about stuff hanging together. He says that's why you do your own work and know what you have and can expect.
Yeah.
I know when I used to build, I used to pull pickups, and when I would build my own engines, that's when I would start questioning my abilities. Was when I was starting to bring the RPM up and starting to take off. I start thinking about all that engine work I did. I don't know why I would think about it at that time when those RPMs got up real high, but that's
I was going to say, because that's where you see that tack actually sitting on 7, 8, 9, and you're saying,
we might have that maybe the first time after you put it together, but after that, things are done right. we've got good parts, and it's, hey, you just try to do your best now that you get rid of that mindset of I don't want to break something to, hey, let's make a good pass, and nothing's going to break then.
Well, yeah, it's not just that. It's all the dotting I's and crossing T's.
Yeah.
There's so many different little nickel and dime stuff, you know, screws and, you know, just everything,
and
clamps and bolts.
You make a good weekend and everything's running. Now you better pop the hoods off and you better go through with wrenches and make sure everything's still tight yet. A lot of things, for some reason, when stuff's spinning like that, a lot of things rattle loose, and you got to try to catch as much as you can before it gets worse.
What's your toughest stretch on the schedule? I know, especially the single charger guys, the Outlaw schedule is just, it really tests you. Do you have a stretch in the summer where you'll pull 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row? I guess State Fair into Wisner would be a big one.
Wisner's a tough one,
yeah.
You know, especially for me, because we're doing so much work at the State Fair that I really don't have much time to kind of focus on the tractor. We'll pull Tuesday, but we've got to stay down there and work Wednesday. So then we'll be down there Wednesday night till we are probably the last ones to leave Wednesday night at 6:37. We get home and we try to turn the trailer over so we can leave Thursday to head back out to Wisner on Thursday then. So that'll be a pretty tough 3 days or 3 hook stretch there over about 5 days for us.
Sure.
But no, we've got a pretty good schedule. We've got, you know, I don't think we'll start at Ravenna, and, you know, then we'll go down to Rock Valley. And then I think we got a single Saturday followed up by the Britt and Sac one. And then we'll see with Gibbon there in the 1st of August before the State Fair. And then we'll finish up at Spencer. So pretty nice 12 hook setup for us. You know, it'll work good. We don't try to push too many there, because I mean, like for us, we're over here on the eastern side of the state, so we've got a few other hooks that are close for us, and it's like it's kind of nice to be able to just pull close here once in a while, but be able to hit that full Outlaw schedule too.
Kurt Van Beek says, congrats, Tyler, you're giving some really good info on how the class runs. Love the class. Doug Meisinger, I think he's referring to how much fuel
he's a little more than
they go through 4 to 4.
He's got his setup tweaked in, just dialed in just a little more than I am yet. You know, I've got a lot of room to grow, a lot of room to go, but we're keeping her held back, and we're going to make some rounds first.
So you guys burn as much water as you do fuel then?
Yeah.
I'd heard some burn a little more water than they do fuel. I can't remember who told me that.
They're really all over the board what guys are running. So I'm probably more on the, you know, the setup I've got on ours now was back, the turbo setup there is probably back from 2014, 2015. So, you know, it's not a new setup by any means. And so these guys that are pushing bigger chargers and all that, you know, they're pushing a lot of water in there. I mean, it's when you got a fuel source, you got air pressure. I mean, you got a blowtorch, so you got to have the water there to keep it all in check.
Yeah. The number one comment I have to deal with on social media is people being frustrated, the trolls worried about the pollution. So now I can just tell them, hey guys, they burn more water than they basically run on water. There's more water than fuel. Don't worry about it.
Randy Barker's concerned about that. He's saying, don't forget the DEF. Don't forget to put the hog.
We'll leave that in the semis. Oh wait, that's gone there too. So I guess we don't have that there either.
And then Tim Hart, I don't know who's Mike. Were you singing? Tyler, were you singing? Tim Hart.
Good song, horrible video, audio.
Sure what's going on there?
Ron Stone, only one of the 3 of us on here is known for their singing voice. So.
I wasn't singing.
Well, we might have had one in the background here. I think we were watching a little Frosty the Snowman in the background here at our place with the little guys. So there might have been a little bit of music in the background there.
Okay, here we go. Here's Roger Rui. What kind of boost pressure are you guys running on the Born Green?
Oh, not as much as you think. I think this last year we were probably around that 230, 235 range. Maybe we were down to 220 a couple times. Had a few times where I didn't come out like I wanted to and just didn't get the EGTs up there. And man, when you're 1100 degrees, we were probably back in the 200s there. You know, you could just you got to have some heat there to keep them things going. And yeah, got a lot of guys, we've kind of backed off from that high pressure stage stuff to, you know, a lot of us are trying to turn some RPMs and, you know, doing what the 540 guys are. Hey, we've got so many cubic inches. The best thing we do is more revolutions, more room for air. And, you know, we're making more power with more revolutions that way.
And Marty Samuelson, what's the cost of your fuel per gallon?
What's the VP fuel? That's what we're running as a VP fuel. So I don't even know where that's at anymore, to be quite honest with you. I don't know the VP fuel price.
You buy
go back to Roger. Isn't Roger the one that isn't Roger the fuel guy?
Roger ought to be able to tell us here.
Yeah, isn't Roger? Isn't that where don't you go to his trailer to?
And we could figure that up. We're smart. We could figure that up here pretty quick if we figure out what the cost of fuel is. They're using 4 to 4.5 gallons a pass.
Well, we kind of, not only is the fuel expensive, but ether cans are getting expensive now. Those things are like $8 or $9 a can now. So it's you definitely want to try to warm it up a little more. So when you get them to start up and drive on the track, you're only going through 2 cans instead of the 3 or 4 deal here.
That's what I'd heard, though, is that you guys had done something. You, the diesel superstock world, had figured out that you can now start them. It used to be, you were double fisting and going through 4 cans at the starting line, but someone had said that you'd learned how to get it down to about 2 cans. Now, don't ask me to explain that. But
really what it is, a lot of us have switched over to this VP fuel. It was kind of a hard change because we were, when you go to a higher fuel like that, a lot of us had some higher EGTs when we started bringing it in there, and it was just, kind of learning the setup, getting the water in there to kind of keep that fire down. I mean, it's a great fuel. It starts nice. They come out a lot easier, and you're not getting the wet stack as much as we used to, but, we had to bring in the water right with it to keep that fire down. Because, when we went from Ruby Red to that, it was, I want to say we switched that over in like 20 or something like 2021. And when we went from Ruby to VP, it was about 300 degrees. We were running 1350, went right up to 1650. And so we had to add a bunch of water back in there. And so it a little bit to get used to. A lot of guys have gone over to it, and it's helped a lot.
There you go. $20 a gallon. So you're $80 to $90 a pass down the track in fuel, not water, but so what's the water?
Still cheaper than living in California, it seems like.
Yeah.
So you're about right on par for California.
Yeah, water. We get, distilled water from the grocery store, so that's usually about 89 cents a gallon.
And I don't know if you knew it or not, Tyler, but you got fans in Nairobi, Kenya. Do you see this?
I see that.
Watching all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
Everywhere.
There's a Marriott.
I wonder what time of day it is there for them guys.
Thanks for watching. I have no clue. So how the heck did you get started in pulling?
Oh, well, my dad got started in pulling in the 70s. We had a neighbor that had a pulling sled. And so back then in the 70s, the sled was the guy that brought all the track crew, brought the flaggers and all that stuff. I don't know if they really tech that much, but they're the guys that brought that along. So that's kind of how my dad got involved with pulling then, and then just kind of kept doing it through the 80s and the 90s when they joined NTPA. My dad was an NTPA tech official, and then I think it was in 96 or 97 is when Iowa Tractor Pullers separated from NTPA and went with Outlaw. And basically my dad, the tech guy with the NTPA guys, kept with the Outlaw. And then I think I started running the laser when I was still in high school yet. Probably, 2002. And then I came into the tech side of things in 2003 and 4. So I did some flagging and teching and laser work and all that till about 2010 when we started pulling. But through that time, we knew we were, we'd been around it enough, been around the guys enough, and we knew we wanted to get a tractor. We went and looked at a couple that, thank God, the only pictures we have are up here because we don't need pictures of those anywhere else. What we went and looked at, but it made us also decide, hey, this is kind of how we wanted to go, building our own chassis and doing that stuff. And when we first started doing it, I was pretty green, pretty young there, and I hadn't had much engine work. And so I said, if we're going to do this, I want to do my own wrenching. I don't want to take it somewhere and pick it up. So it was a lot of learning with some parts and a lot of wrenching and some friends helping, and we've learned a lot.
Late nights.
Yeah, we've learned a lot over here the last few years with stuff. So, because this was the end of our 15th season. So 2025 will be 16 year seasons for us already.
It's good to have good friends that can help out too. You don't have to pay them with money; you pay them with beer. You just make sure the cooler stays full. And
that's right. And, I had the one friend that probably started out first. He was a John Deere mechanic, came over and helped me. And then the latest one that's helped me some is he had a pulling tractor back about the same time we did. It was a Super Farm that they then put into a Light Pro back in the early 2010s. And I think he went with us out to Gordyville one year, and then now he's actually working on getting a 5.0 Pro put together. So him and I've shared a lot of ideas, and he got a hold of Troy Arndt's chassis, which was Blake Graves' original component from 2003. So we're getting that set up with, I think he's got a Brinkmeyer 680 with a 5.0 that they're going to get together. I don't know if we're hoping to get it out next year. It'll be 5488 sheet metal on it. So that'll be kind of a neat one for our area that he'll be able to go pull Outlaw, or he's going to try to maybe pull some Badger State stuff and kind of wherever he can here in Northeast Iowa.
Yeah, we're a lot of us have been talking about that lately. That 5-inch class is going to see a lot of growth here in the next few years. It's really starting to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, the guys that are pulling now, they really like it a lot. I mean, I've asked David Yark and them, hey, when you guys jumped from the 4.8 to the 5.0, did you see much difference in maintenance? And he's like, we really haven't had to do too much, keep things together. They make rounds, and hey, we go pulling all summer long. And, chatted with Bryce Van Genderen some this summer too. And, he's like, hey, it lives, it works. It's a great, nice setup. You keep the intercoolers away, so it keeps it simple, and go pull, make rounds. That's kind of what we want to do. Is we tell everybody we're competitive, but at the same time, we got to realize we're out there trying to put on a show for these promoters.
Yeah. Zook Fukerberg. Do you know who Zook Fukerberg is?
Oh God, yeah, he had a great video of us out in Wisner. So
he says congrats on your 2024.
Hopefully, you can get that mod out this next year. I saw
championship. He had it out at the end of the season down in Lufkin.
More for him. Yeah. So happy to do that. And actually got to know him a couple years ago at Rock Valley. We were sitting there the night before in the parking lot by the hotel, and they pulled in there by us, and we ended up chatting that morning and got to know them guys when they had the Rolls Royce on there. So looking forward to his new setup, and hopefully he's got some good success there as he goes forward. He's
probably celebrating the news today, actually. I don't know if you saw the news. He has his alias on here because he was kicked off of Facebook, but they said that Zuckerberg actually fired all of their fact checkers today. They're not going back to that. So
he finally got Elon's idea that, when you're not censoring data, it doesn't take a whole lot of people to run a company, does it?
Yeah. So I didn't know if he knew that or not. So hopefully, maybe but we've all come to know and love the Zook Fukerberg.
Yeah, at this point, the alias is already well established. We might just
he's stuck there. There's no changing that now.
No.
So what's your plans for the future?
I got about probably 10 years of driving left. So, after 10 years, I guess I'll be a wrench then. That's when my boy will be 16, and I have a feeling I won't be driving too much.
Like that. Yep.
So I think it was this last fall, we were driving home from school one day, and he goes, Daddy, when I get old enough, do you think you can buy me a pulling tractor so I can drive one? And I just said, we'll just stick with one. How about you drive mine? And he's like, worse. So, we got the next generation coming there. So
that's usually the perfect time to add that second tractor, though.
No. One is just fine. I do actually enjoy watching it go down the track as much as I do wrenching on it and doing that part, But I don't know. I'm getting to the point now. There's nothing really. You start it up, you go out there. Nothing really. I don't get too worked up about nothing anymore, and you just go out there and do your thing. And I shoot pool with the guys, and the other night I said, how can I get more worked up shooting a pool game than I can when I'm going down the track?
Here's a good question here. Did you apply to go to Louisville?
No.
Did not.
I knew I needed to have a lot of changes done. So part of that work that we're doing with the front drive system, I'm actually having to redo my front engine mount. And so in doing that, it's gutting a lot of things in the front. And I've also had a front suspension around for the last 2 years. So I've really got the whole front of the tractor kind of gutted out right now. So we're working on getting the front suspension underneath there so I can get some room for different tanks, getting a different front drive with instead of having before I always had a big 4-stage Avia that stuck way far out in front. Now we're going to 2 separate ones, front and back. So we're making some big changes on the front end to try to help have some more success with that. We were fighting some fuel issues and all that. And so I just knew we had too much to change, and we've been busy with fall, and it's tough to do all that work November, December when we're trying to get farming finished up. And I said, we've got enough things going on. There's enough guys that ran good in the diesel class to get to Louisville. Saw the list came out last Friday. So first thing I did Friday night was go through it and kind of memorize everything that's on there. So it'll be fun to watch here in another few weeks.
Doug Meisinger has a pretty important question too here. He's asking if you're getting married.
Them guys. Something else.
That's converted me over to a question all night.
Say that. Got me converted over to Mick Ultra now instead of my Bud Light.
All right. We'll let you go, Tyler. Thanks so much for coming on the show, buddy. Congrats once again.
Guys. Hopefully we can come back.
Congrats on your championship, man. Awesome. It'll be exciting to see the tractor back on the track with all the new changes coming up in June, man.
I mean, it'll still look the same, but there'll be a few different things underneath. So we'll have to pop the side panels off and come and take a peek, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on, Tyler. Congratulations, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck, bud.
Awesome.
Good
a lot of
stuff.
changes
Good stuff.
on that tractor. So, yeah, I was hoping he would apply for Louisville, but
Yep.
he said with all the changes they were planning on making. They knew there was no way they could make it. But Zook says good luck in 2025. Mike Schoeneman watching tonight. Thanks for tuning in,
Good
Mike.
Deal.
Randy Barker says cool. He must be talking about you, Mike.
Something. Hey, just Outlawed Live, truck and tractor pulling, Outlaw pulling. It is cool, man. We agree. No, I'll tell you what's cool. Great interview with Tyler right there. We appreciate him coming on. Good running tractor. Congratulations on a points championship. And a lot of good stuff coming. Normally, Ron, we're getting antsy for the National Farm Machinery Show, but with Satsuma, like you said, that means you're going to be. Will you even be coming home? Or are you just going to do a Florida to Louisville loop right there?
Yep. Yep, the loop, buddy. Lots of miles. Yep. Hey, it comes with it. The pullers have to make all those miles too, so.
Absolutely.
But it'd be nice to warm up a little bit down there before going back up to Louisville. But Kurt Paulson says he's here. Kurt Paulson, he's going to have his hands full this summer. He's got a two-wheel drive in addition to the Light Super Ag.
In addition, and Kurt, get on here and shut me down if this is not supposed to be public. But he's got a couple extra bullets in the chamber this year. So he told me, he goes, we can really run it hard this summer because the old adage, if she goes, she goes. If she blows, she blows. But we got backups that we can lock and load now. So, yeah, he's all in. I really love the leap that Kurt's taken and the way that he is, given this sport is all. He's an entertaining team to watch.
Yeah, that light super stock ag class, pretty competitive to watch that class. Let's talk about National Farm Machinery Show here.
Yeah.
Mike. I've got the list in front of me about the Outlaw pullers that are going. Do you have your list there?
I've got mine, but I missed some. So I need to go down and see.
Yeah.
There's a reason. This is why I get to be, I'm like the assistant coach and you're the head coach. I'm allowed to miss some. We can
go to the present page and actually pull up the website and look at all of the entries, but I can tell you who's going that are Outlaw pullers, Outlaw points runners. Okay, let's put it that way. Representing the Outlaws. Kurt Paulson said he's more entertaining after the pull, is what I think he's talking about drinking beer. And
that's true too. You know what? I like all aspects of pulling, the pre-pulling, the pulling, and the post-pulling. All are good fun. All the way around.
Post-pulling adventures.
Yes.
Modified four-wheel drive. The Ritter boys are going to.
Loved that. Oh man, I was so excited for them. They worked hard this season, getting that new big motor going. Didn't finish outside of the top 5 too much and grab some wins late in the year. So I was very excited to see them get the nod. And
then Ryan Thornton, points champ. He was the guy to beat.
Dominant. That had to have been one of the easiest picks the committee made.
For lack of a better word, dominant is it. Murray Thornton, Thumper in there as well, and that's your four-wheel drive class for the Outlaws. 7,500-pound modifieds. As you said before, Vern Huser got the nod to go. Cameron Neves, of course, those guys are going to stick on that third motor.
Sure.
And Cameron, he's about to get her figured out down there. He had a good finish. At
Boy, his confidence has to be so high right now. He everything fell into the third motor setup really fell into place nicely last year, but that was before he put the new tires on. After he put the new tires on, that thing turned into a bullet. So yeah, he is flirting with, everyone wants to get excited about that big Simon 4-engine mod, but I watch for Cameron Neves to be, Texas is coming. I'll just put it that way.
Now, in the past, he's told me that the Mitas are for the 3-engine setup indoors, and the Pro Pullers are for outdoor. I don't know. We'll see if that changes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so he's got a decision to make then.
Unless something has changed, but those tires did work good for him.
Boy, didn't they?
Season. It'd be cool to see what Vern has for him too. Vern is he puts the hammer down on that tractor. He's fun to watch.
Well, and Vern's motor man too builds or helps him tune those V8s in such a way that they're meant to be driven aggressively with him and Richard traveling together.
And that's Wednesday night. So you get 5 Outlaw pullers there in 2 different classes on Wednesday night.
And fans, it's important to remember too, with that modified 4-wheel drive truck class at the National Farm Machinery Show coming out on Wednesday, even though that's one of the first ones out the gate, that is their finals.
Yep.
So, you're gonna, if you're following this and supporting your Outlaw pullers, put your eyes on those 4-wheel drive boys right away, because that's it for them. That's their final session right there on Wednesday.
Then you go to Thursday night is in super modified 2-wheel drive, Donald Nelson and the Whippet.
Yep.
And Cameron Pascal and High Cotton, 2 Texas 2-wheel drives representing on Thursday night. John Hunt will be there as well. He pulls with the Outlaws, but he'll be representing the National Tractor Pulling Association on Thursday night with Taz.
Yep.
Limited Pro Stock, the 4-1s, points champion George Beyer will be representing the Outlaws. Lane Paulson. Lane was supposed to be on the show tonight, but I talked to him a week or 2 ago, and he was supposed to come on, but he might have forgot about us. I reached out to him today to remind him, and he didn't message me back. So we'll get him on the show soon enough. Young man is a pretty gifted driver in the class too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was a feel-good story. I'd hate to feel-good story, but that was a story that the whole pulling world was excited to see. Kid's a great driver, and to see a young man, as young as he is, get his chance to go to pull at Freedom Hall, that's one we're going to be paying close attention to.
And then Colby Lane out of Missouri, the bad John Deere, got the nod in Limited Pro Stock. Chris Lear, the Badger Deer, pulled with us some in 2024. Will be there on Thursday night representing the Outlaws as well.
Chris Lear was one I missed. You're right. Yeah.
So
yeah, that Badger Deer, and it was one of those that he ran early on. I remember he was at Ravenna. I think he was at Rock Valley. And kind of one of those X factors that when he shows up, you kind of hold your breath a little bit, because those 4-1s out of Wisconsin, there's 2 places I feel produce really good 4-1s. That's the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association and the Wisconsin boys. He got to a point there in the sweep, the Organics Midwest Summer Sweep, in that Limited Pro Stock class, that he was vying for the big money in that class, and I'm not sure he missed a couple of hooks there and kind of dropped out, But yeah, four different tractors representing Outlaws on Thursday night. Friday night, Valentine's Day, Mike. In Limited Pro Stock, Dave Novak, the Mean Farmer. I got to thinking about that. I don't know my Outlaw history as well as I should, because I've only been with the association for a couple of years. Dave Novak seems like one of those guys. He's probably been to Louisville before, I would assume. That just feels like a guy who's probably had to have pulled at the National Farm Machinery Show more than once.
Yep. I'm not sure how many times, but yes, he's definitely pulled here in the last couple of years. Has been there with the Mean Farmer. Doug Ruth, the Ruthless Binder. Of course, he does make some PPL hooks, and I think he actually went up and did some Badger State stuff maybe last year, a pull or 2. But Doug Ruth, the Ruthless Binder, will be.
Doug was one of those that I had in my. Here's the ones I know for sure, and here's the ones I don't know if I knew he was kind of one I wasn't sure to write down or not, but I had Doug on my list, kind of tilted. So
then 2-wheel drive on Friday night. Mindy Brown, the Louisville,
2-time winner at the National Farm Machinery Show.
Yes, sir. Of course, Richard Morris, the Buffalo's Chips. We had him on here a while back.
Oh yeah.
And then Dustin Corliss, the Texas Bullseye, representing the Outlaws down there. That'll be the last
the swan song.
Yep, swan
final
song.
voyage.
They sold that to a fellow Texan down there.
Yep.
So that'll be the last run for under the Nelson camp there, running that
Bullwhip banner.
Bullseye. So make it a good one. Make it a good one. And then Saturday night, besides whoever's going to go to the finals, we have nobody set up to pull on Saturday afternoon. Of course, Saturday night is finals at the National Farm Machinery Show. One outlaw that kind of left me scratching my head a little bit, I couldn't figure out why they didn't get in there, was 540 Light Pro, John Narragon.
I was curious as well. I was looking down that 8500 Light Pro, and I kind of looked at it again. And that's one where I said, well, Mike, you must not have watched this class enough this year, because surely one of these guys is one of ours. But so I was a little intrigued just with that class as well. But
yeah, that one kind of had me scratching my head a little bit. Let's see, Ben Beller was hoping to see Andrew Sprock get the nod. He didn't. Yeah, I kind of thought he could get in there as well. You know, he
I
pulls a
think
lot with
I
PTL.
feel like, you know, if you watch like NCAA basketball and they talk about like the first one out and the last one in, I feel like Andrew Sprock is right there. I feel like his day in the sun is right around the corner. And I feel like if they made a list of however many, and then like the one after that list, I feel like he's right on that bubble. I think he is knocking on the door, and I think he's going to be there soon.
He had a good season. For sure.
Yeah, and it's a hard running truck.
Yeah, Mark J. Ham, evening, gentlemen. Thanks for the pictures, Mark. Hit him up for pictures for the 2025 souvenir program. Case Conover, of course, watches every Tuesday down from Lytle, Texas. Fukerberg. Mark Dempsey pulls Outlaw. Yeah, he hooks when we're down there. Mark Dempsey, the Sticker Shock, represent Texas trucker tractor pullers. Yeah, we'll consider him an outlaw. I just didn't want to steal anybody else's thunder, you know, being that he pulls full on with Texas truck and tractor pullers. But he does hook with us when we go to Texas. So yeah, good call there, Zook Fukerberg. So yeah, that's it, man. Any others had you scratching your head a little bit? I mean, I did scratch my head a little bit on, I guess, the boys from Illinois not getting their 4-wheel drive in to defend their title. That one kind of had me scratching my head a little bit too.
Yeah, and I hate to speculate because I feel like I'm still a little bit too much in the rookie department to really fully understand the inner workings of, you know, this great motorsport of ours. But just from a fan's perspective, you know, I thought by and large, no, nothing stood out to me too much. The 540 class, the light supers, maybe a little bit, but I feel like the light supers are getting a little bit the way of the diesel super stock class, in that there's a lot of boom and there's a lot of engine failure in that class too. So sometimes you kind of look at it and you wonder, you know, who's in and who's out. And I'm also learning there's a lot of really, really good state and regional hookers out there, you know, that deserve their shots. So when those guys can get in too, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it shake out. I think there's some stories we need to pay attention to. And I think it's going to be another really big year for the Outlaws. And I think the 4-1s, the super modified 2-wheel drive trucks, and especially with what Cameron Neves and Vern Huser are doing in that modified class, just keep an eye on us is all I want to say, because we're not just there happy to be there. We're there looking for gold and silver and bronze. And I anticipate us to bring home quite a bit of it.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, we've got some good iron in there. Got some good drivers. It'll be exciting to see. Next week, maybe we'll go do present the page from Louisville, so we can look at the list and see who they're going up against. We'll make our picks next week. How about that?
I will say this. I think the Louisville track, being a tight power track, and Richard Morris's driving style are a really good fit. I think if you can get on it quickly, aggressively, and hard, and not afraid to stand, I think Richard Morris has the potential to tame that tight track as well as anyone we've seen, just because of the way he drives his truck out of the hole shot.
It would be cool to see for sure. Yeah, definitely. To see an Outlaw come home with the win there in 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive or mod or limited.
We'll take any of them. Take any of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome. Awesome. Hey,
Ron, before we sign off, I do want to talk about when the smoke clears. If you don't have anything right now, yeah, I don't.
You had it in there, buddy.
I don't. Well, that's what I want to talk about. That. So I want to kind of bring that up, because drivers, I want to thank each of you. You guys have done a really, really enthusiastic response. Drivers are piling up left and right. They want to be in it. So a lot of you out there might be saying, "Where's it been?" Okay, over the past few weeks, we had a Christmas Eve show followed by a New Year's Eve show. So things were kind of, holiday influenced. The When the Smoke Clears is a joint collaboration between myself and the Beer Money Pulling Team. And with the holidays and with the offices being at their hours, we just don't have the videos prepped right now. And for this week, our full intentions are to be back full force next week. And I also want to be a little bit more transparent. There at first, I felt like, Ron, it was always kind of a surprise who's going to be on next week and who's not. But drivers, I know you're waiting for your shots. So fans too, I do want to let you know it's coming back very, very soon. And the drivers, you can anticipate seeing roughly in this order. Next week, we're going to take a look at Robert Davison in the Red Iron, followed the following week by Doug Voth in his brand new Griffin Growl. After that, Joshua Rail with the Boot Hill Express, Jordan Compton and Ford Tough, Adam Serve in the Dark Knight, and DJ Lures in Unleashed are going to take us all the way almost to March. So it's something we're still very invested in. The holidays have thrown us a bit of a curveball. Beer Money Pulling Team really busy right now with a lot of indoor events that they're going to. So once everyone gets back in the office, we're going to start cranking those out. And drivers, we're going to get you highlighted. And if you want to be on when the smoke clears, it's just a simple questionnaire. It takes you about 10 minutes. Fill it out at your leisure, and we will handle the rest because we want to feature each and every one of you guys on the show and on social media.
Awesome. Can't wait to see each and every one of those. And actually, I was just thinking about this. I see where Donald Nelson, his team has a nice little piece coming up on Full Pull.
They're going to be Donald's going to be on the No Practice podcast, and so
that's what it is. No Practice podcast. Sorry. But awesome. How about Mitch Larson? Yeah. Well, we'll get to him. Like Mike said, he's got him scheduled almost into March there. So good job, Mike.
He's talking farm show too.
Yeah. So great job, Mike. Appreciate that. We'll be looking forward to seeing that next week, next Tuesday night. Thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. We're going to call it an evening. Had a great crowd here. I see a lot of people tuning in tonight, Mike. So awesome. People are getting the new year has started. They're getting ready for Louisville, all these indoor pools. And we're going to gain 40 minutes of daylight this month alone. So summer is coming. So
it's coming a lot faster for you down there in Satsuma, Florida as well. So Outlaw fans, be sure to tune in. And now, will you be announcing to the live audience there, Ron?
I think we'll be doing both. I think. I don't know what they have plans on the live stream. Like I said, it's not Outlaw Pulling TV that's going to be doing it. So we'll be at their mercy, however they want to do it there.
Okay.
But I'll be doing the live regardless.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
Perfecto.
Yep. Zup Fukerberg, you have a great evening as well as all the folks out there in Outlaw Nation. Mike, thank you. Thanks for everybody for watching. Thank you for Tyler Buckman for coming on tonight. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central here on Outlaw Live.
And 86 right now, 345 and 86. Here we go with the Kentuckian. Right side kind of hurt him there. He was fighting that white line all the way down. Here tonight, going to spot that sled here a little bit left of center. They've been kind of working this spot. And I would imagine try to drive it up, just like we saw Mr. Holsworth as he got an unbelievable hole shot. He got that sled moving really quick. That's what it's going to take. So that chicken down there, he's getting a little bit, he's getting wound up.
He's getting a little cocky, I think.
Yeah.
Pun intended there. Getting a little cocky. That chicken is talking about race and the other chicken. Kurt Van Beek, the owner of the Outlaws. I can't believe he's going to do it, but here we go. Cody Ark. Rich Hill, Missouri, gone. Oh, man. Pulls back on the throttle, coasts the sled past the Schaefer oil barrel. Man, oh man, fans, let's give a nice round of applause. Your winner, your points champion, everything but the kitchen sink here tonight. Cody Yarrick. 373.78 at 34 miles per hour. The Cody on fire. But if he doesn't see a red flag, he's not going to stop.
So this is for the championship, 2024 Outlaw Championship right here. Right now they're all chasing Ray Miller. Another bad decision. That Bucket T, he's out front, way out front here. 342 and 86, but like you say, kind of a race within a race here.
That's right. Got to love the stance on this old pickup, too. Looking down track at him here. Got the rear end up in the air there, the front end down low. Got those long, zoomy headers. Meyer Brothers Racing Hemi under that steel. Willie sheet metal. Adam Kester prepared Meyer Brothers Racing Hemi.
So once again, two-wheel drives working over here, left of center. Saw the Pro Stock tractors. That was pretty much where most of them ran over there. And these two-wheelers have kind of picked right up in that same spot.
342.86 the mark to beat. Out in Neosho, Missouri, Richard Morris, Buffalo's Chips.